are watching Dr. Walls and Friends on Opulence TV. Welcome to Dr. Walls and Friends. I am joined here today with the COO of the Peace and Love Foundation. And this is Mr. Herman Davis. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I love that answer. You are amazing.
Thank you.
I am doing wonderful, thank you. So I'm excited because we have a joint venture which we're going to tell the people about coming up on October 18th.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, I want the people to know about Peace and Love. And be clear, that's peace and the plus sign, love.
Correct.
That's right.
Correct. Peace and Love is a cause marketing nonprofit that was started 9 years ago by my oldest sister, Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
Her background was marketing and advertising. She works for Clear Channel and Radio One. And she had this idea to market peace and love the same way they market that rim with the spinning hubcaps and the cheeseburger with the 4 different cheeses. So like, how do we market peace and love?
So actually marketing the concepts of peace and love.
Yes.
How interesting.
So, hopefully that the communities of the world, people can buy into it the same way they buy into everything else.
How I forget my tambourine, y'all?
Where you tambourine at?
I'm saying.
What is that?
It's at home.
Cheese and crackers.
But I always have one on my phone.
I know.
So when we come back from commercial break, I might have to take it out and shake it.
Do it.
I love it. That idea of marketing peace and love so people buy into it. I think that's genius.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
So, and how that all started is just looking at where violence, well actually at the time where domestic violence is at since 1985. And in 1985, our oldest sister was murdered by her husband. She suffered from domestic violence through their entire relationship, and she had finally got the strength to leave him. He had come home from prison, and she had announced that she was divorcing him. This was it. She was leaving, and he entered the home and surprised her while she was getting dressed for an interview.
Oh goodness!
And he strangled her.
Wow!
He strangled her. Yeah. And back then, there was no DNA. My sister had dead skin from scratching him under her fingernails, but he didn't go to prison until like a year later.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't happen right away. So, for us, my sister, she started Peace and Love, but her and I was in conversation of building Peace and Love, because actually before it was called Peace and Love, it was actually called PO, Peace on Earth.
Oh, wow.
And then, then came the birth of Peace and Love from
Okay.
that. But I think around that time, what we had noticed is that the city had cut the funding for women's shelter.
Yes.
And it's the only one of the same women's shelter from back when my sister was in it years ago. And they lost funding.
Okay.
And it was really disheartening to hear that, because domestic violence didn't decrease in numbers.
That's right.
But funding did.
That's right.
So it was like, what can we do?
Yeah.
And then here's Peace and Love.
Okay.
And I've been doing Peace and Love actually by myself, with the help of my students at Howard University.
Yes.
Morehouse, the AUC, which is Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta. And then the students that I have here in Philly.
Now, what do you do with the students around Peace and Love?
What I do with the students in Philly, there's actually 2 things. We do a thing called the Art of Peace and Love, which is a 90-minute program. And we take poets and visual artists that look like the kids, and which is very important, because the kids, they open up to somebody that looks like them.
That's
they
right.
They make an instant connection.
Yes.
But we do with the kids, they do poems that is relative to the issues that we're dealing with today in our communities, and then we have conversation halfway through the program to engage the kids to talk about what's on their minds and what's on their heart. And a lot of times, the biggest thing with the kids is that they have nobody to talk to.
That's right.
Or they have nobody that's just listening to them.
That's what I was going to say, and that's a key piece. And we work with a lot of children together, a lot of students, and that's the biggest thing, is that they don't have people who actually listen. Because they'll be asked, "What's wrong?" oh, you need to get over that. And it's like, I'm really having a problem here, and I need you to understand it from my point of view.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Yesterday I was invited to this, I was invited to a meeting that they were having at 6 Inch Rod at the Free Library. And it was about their first community event that they're going to put together. And it was, the event was catered to the youth.
Okay.
But as I sat and I watched, it's funny, I was a typical, I hate to even say it, I was late and I was leaving early.
Got you.
So I got there late and I'm sitting and I'm observing, because a lot of these meetings to me, they look alike.
Right.
So I really didn't need to see it from beginning to end. But, you know, I had to leave, but before I left, the one thing that I noticed is that there's this round table of adults talking about this youth event, and there's no youth at the table. And I think that's a disconnect that we have, is that we don't include the youth in the answers or trying to find the solution of their problems.
That's right.
Because this is a totally different day and time.
Yes, it is.
Totally different day and time. You know, when I was growing up, there may have been one, if not none, foster children on the block.
Right.
Today, there may be a block of foster children.
That's the truth.
You know, so it's totally different time.
So now you do that with the youth. Now what about the young adults on the college campuses that you mentioned?
Actually, they do the exact same thing.
Wonderful.
What they do is they go out into the community. So they'll go to the community in Atlanta.
Yes.
Or DC. They'll do the school tour. But what they do different, which is really unique, is they'll bring the kids back onto the college campus and give them a tour of the college.
Yeah.
And show them that, you know, they can be there.
So
they can do it.
expand their horizons.
Similar to what I do with the school in Southwest Philly, Southwest Leadership Academy.
Yes.
We did I do a program there called A Better You. And I teach life skills to the kids. Really simple things, but you'd be surprised how valuable simple things are, because a lot of people don't have or
They're
know about
overlooked
simple,
a lot of times.
Right, just simple things.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe how priceless simple things are.
That's right.
So I do a 6-month program there. But at the end of the year, the school took the kids to a college tour down in Atlanta, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And so the students in Philadelphia had an opportunity to meet the Peace and Love students.
They had an opportunity to meet the Peace and Love students in Atlanta. Yes.
Wow.
And that was phenomenal.
And I'm just thinking about how wonderful it is that there is longevity. So here you can have a 7th grader or an 8th grader in Peace and Love, introduced to Peace and Love, and then go on to college, and now
and still be connected to Peace and Love. Yeah.
That's huge. You talk about buy-in.
That's funny. I didn't even look that up, thought about it like that until you just said it. Yeah.
And that's why I'm Dr. Walls.
You are Dr. Walls. And this is something that I'm really excited to say, is that as of last Monday, I'm going to be working with the Mural Arts Program. With the Mural Arts Program, they have an amazing program called Restorative Justice.
Yes.
The Guild Program, and I'm going to be working with men from the ages of 18 to 23.
Excellent.
Doing the same concept that I do at the school.
Look at that.
Yeah, A Better You. So I'm so excited about that program.
You better
with
go.
Mural Arts, yeah, because you have an 18 to 23, man. You know how many fathers you have?
Yes.
That's so disconnected from their kids.
That's right.
So disconnected from the child's mother, and it becomes a cycle. You know,
Yes,
you're wondering why. It's just like, this is what they're taught, learned behavior, and this.
And how about that? Those little things that you're teaching that are missing. So as they continue to miss teaching these opportunities, but now they have these pieces to the puzzle that you're providing them.
Yeah, and another gem, and this was intentional with going into the colleges, and I probably should make sure I say this, not just going into colleges, but going into the HBCUs, the historical black colleges. And the goal is that those children, or those young adults, or those young scholars, I should say, will then take it back to their respective neighborhoods.
That's right.
And I have a guy, Corey, his last name has escaped me, but Corey is from Chicago, and he's running for alderman.
Okay.
And he wants me to come to Chicago to spread peace and love, which is exactly what Peace and Love is designed for.
I love. Well, we're gonna take a pause right there, and we're gonna marinate on peace and love spreading throughout this world. And we'll be back shortly on Dr. Walls and Friends.